Hi, and welcome to Teen Book Bites. My name is Lauren, and I will be your host this afternoon. Today, we have librarians from across Los Angeles Public Library who will be sharing some of their favorite whodunit or mystery books with us. All of the books that you hear about today are available through the library, either digitally or physically through the library catalog and available to pick up at any one of our branches. We are open across the city. So why mysteries? Who doesn't love a good mystery? These books that we're going to be talking about today will keep you guessing and probably up all night turning pages so you can find out what really happened. There's so many great teen mystery books available, and this is just a very small selection. So definitely check in with your local librarian to get more suggestions once you devour all of these titles. So first up, we have Lear from Teenscape.
Hello all, I'm Lear from Teenscape at the Central Los Angeles Public Library, and I wanted to share with you all one of my very favorite books, Monday's Not Coming by wordsmith Tiffany D. Jackson. Claudia's best friend Monday is missing, and no one seems to notice or care that she doesn't show up for the first day, second day, or first weeks of school. Monday's mother and sister brush her off with stories of her visiting relatives. Absolutely no one seems to care that her best friend is nowhere to be found. She finally finds a teacher to take some sort of notice, but as Claudia delves into her friend's disappearance, no one can quite remember when they last saw her. How can that be? How can her best friend, a teen girl, just disappear? This book is almost suffocating in its intensity. Do not flip to the back to find out what happens. Really let yourself be submerged by the story. All of Jackson's books are amazingly powerful, and make sure to catch her upcoming horror novel, White Smoke. Thank you.
Thank you, Lear. That sounds really good, and I'm super excited for her latest book. The horror one sounds awesome. All right, next up, we have Emily from the North Hollywood branch.
Hi. So today I'm going to be talking about I Am Princess X by Sherry Priest. This is a unique mystery because it is told both in novel and comic format. So this story is about May and Libby. When they were in the 5th grade, best friends Libby and May created Princess X, a butt-kicking princess character that went on to star in all of their middle school comic books that they drew. Their friendship and Princess X came to an end when Libby tragically died when her mother fell asleep and drove off of a bridge. Or did she? Present day, 16-year-old May returns to Seattle, where she and Libby lived during this time. Much has changed, but something catches her eye: Princess X. The character is featured in stickers all over the city. But May wonders, how is this possible? After her friend died and she left Seattle, there was nobody to create these Princess X comics. She begins to wonder if her friend survived the accident after all. Soon, she learns that the accident wasn't an accident, but that Libby's mother was murdered before the car went into the water. So the murder has never been solved. When she discovers Princess X webcomics that go along with the stickers, she's even more sure that Libby is actually alive. The webcomics tell about a girl who looks a lot like Libby trying to escape from an evil needle man, and they become very popular. So May starts to try to solve the mystery of Princess X, find Libby, uncover the truth. The story is told both traditionally and with the Princess X comics throughout. So you get to follow along with May as she tries to solve this mystery. It's great for fans of comics, mystery, strong characters. At its heart, it's a story about female friendship and teamwork and trying to figure out what happened.
Thanks, Emily. So I have a question for you. What are the comics? Do they have clues in them? Like, I'm just sort of curious if that's sort of a way you can try to solve the mystery yourself.
Yes. So they're all kind of told in allegory. So Princess X has to be rescued, and there's trolls and all sorts of things. But in the story of the book, Princess X is a really popular webcomic, and there are people like on Reddit and websites trying to decipher and see what it means. So it's become a huge phenomenon in the story. So you get to do it along with the characters. You get to try to figure it out.
That's super cool. I like that. I'm going to check that one out. Thank you.
It's super fun.
Awesome. Next up, we have Kathy from the Los Feliz Library.
Hello there. Sally Jones is an unusual gorilla. She wears overalls and is a highly skilled mechanic on the tramp steamer Hudson Queen. Her boss is her friend. Let me move over here. Oops. Captain Coachella. She can read and write, but she cannot speak. Sally Jones, and she insists on using both names, is the ape of the title. Captain Coachella is the title's murderer, or is he? The story takes place in the murky world of Lisbon politics before World War I. Sally Jones and her kindly captain are looking to haul cargo for pay. A mysterious man arranges them to get a load of tiles on a darkened bend of the Tagus River. All is not what it seems. The boat is hijacked and sunk by incompetent hijackers. What is going on? Captain Coachella is accused of murdering the shadowy man that arranged the transaction. Sally Jones is left to fend for herself in an unfriendly town. But her luck changes when she meets Anna Molina, a factory employee and fado singer, and her starchy neighbor, Senor Fadardo, the accordion repairman. So how to get the captain out of prison without Sally Jones being put into a zoo? This is a tale of high adventure, mysterious coincidences, and one-of-a-kind characters that will fill your need for a whodunit, a very entertaining one. Sally Jones's work ethic, her trustworthiness, and attachment to her friends speak volumes about the nature of friendship. She's willing to overcome any obstacles. The story includes anarchists, monarchists, maharajas, an unsavory policeman, a friendly gravedigger, and a few diamond-mined investors. And that's not the half of it. Here's a few interesting facts about the book. This book was translated from Swedish and contains the author's charming portrait gallery of characters in the front of the book. You get lessons on how to be a human, and if you are a big fan of Philip Pullman, the author of the Dark Materials trilogy, you can be advised that the book, he gives the book a big thumbs up. So what's not to like? And I hope you read it and enjoy it. And just one thing, let me show you a little pictures of the characters in the book. This is the author's take on the different characters. So as you can see, it's kind of a one-of-a-kind book, very unusual and very fantastic. So I think you'll really enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for showing us those illustrations too. That is very cool. I really like that. And that one sounds like just super entertaining and fun. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Next up, we go back to Lear at Teenscape again.
Hello, everyone. All right, I'm Lear from Teenscape again. One of my favorite summer reads has been Tess Sharp's The Girls I've Been. Over here. We meet Nora, the daughter of a con artist that goes after men who have criminal lives. What they're able to gain from this life keeps them going until her mother falls head over heels for one, and he's not a good man. After having been so many girls throughout her young life and seeing the dangers of her present life, Nora must escape. Now, 5 years later, she has different problems. Her ex-boyfriend and best friend found out about her new girlfriend awkwardly after he sees them kissing. And the next day, they all have to go deposit fundraising funds in the local bank. Their day gets worse while in line, men start robbing the bank. but they don't know what the readers know, who Nora truly is and who she can be. If you want a twisty, multi-layered read, definitely pick this book up.
Thank you, Lear. And that book, just for our audience, if you haven't heard, is going to be, I think it's a Netflix show with Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I read about that recently. So read the book first, because you know they're going to change it in the TV show. But hopefully it'll be just as entertaining.
She kind of looks like how she looked in my head, so that works.
Oh, that's funny. You were casting it while you were reading it. All right, next up we have Philip from Panorama City.
Hello, I'm going to be recommending Sadie by Courtney Summers. This is a book that goes beyond merely dark and into terrifying territory. So I would say I would recommend this to older teens and adults because it goes into some areas that are not at all pleasant. So in this book, it starts off, it is much like I Am Princess X, it has two different formats. It alternates between the script of a podcast called The Girls, which is a true crime podcast, and Sadie's first-person narration of what she's doing. What happens is Wes McCrae, who's a well-known radio personality, gets a desperate call to look for Sadie, this teenage girl who's gone missing. And he thinks at first, girls go missing all the time. This isn't a story. I'm not going to do this. But once he finds out that girl's little sister had just been murdered and then Sadie had disappeared, he realizes there's a mystery afoot. And although he's not a detective, as a true crime podcaster, he wants to get in while the evidence is still fresh. And so he starts interviewing anyone he can find who has some connection with her life. I'm going to try not to tell very much about the plot because this is a truly great book. I really want you to discover its grisly secrets for yourself. But Sadie and Maddie is her little sister, who unfortunately has been murdered. They had been living very unfortunate circumstances. Their mother, Claire, who was a drug addict, they lived with her in a trailer park, and Claire had various boyfriends, some of which were pretty shady over the years, and one of whom was very abusive for the two daughters, and Sadie believes that this one was the murderer of Maddie, and so in her chapters, she is trying to find him. She's traveling the country looking for clues to find where this person is, because she plans to murder him. Whereas the podcast chapters, they're searching. Their main quest is to find Sadie, who is the missing girl, before anything bad happens to her. And was Sadie correct about who the murderer was? Does she manage to get her revenge? Do they find Sadie before anything unfortunate happens? There is a lot to uncover here, and it is just so beautifully written. Literally has some late bedtimes because of staying up for this book. And she's just a fantastic writer. All of her books I recommend, but this is one of her best. Once again, Sadie by Courtney Summers. Ask for it by name at your local public library.
Thank you, Philip. I loved Sadie too. I thought it was so good. And if you're an audiobook fan, Sadie makes a great audiobook. I think the podcast sort of storyline makes it turn into sort of a great audio listening experience.
I heard that as well, that they really made the podcast chapters sound like a real podcast. But I was so invested in the reading, I was like, I could put this down and place a hold on the audio, but I can't stop. I just got to plow through this.
Understandable. All right. So our last title for today is coming from Emily from the Palms Rancho branch.
Hello. So if you like audiobooks, I actually listened to this one as well, and it's amazing. So I'm excited to talk about Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Booley. It just came out this year, I think in the spring, so it's a pretty new book. It takes place in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, or what the locals call the Sioux. So Donna Spontaine is our main character, who is half Ojibwe and half white. although her father has passed away, she still keeps close ties to her native side through her aunt and her friends on the reservation. So at the beginning of the book, close to the beginning, not the very beginning, Donis actually witnesses a murder that sends her life and the reservation into chaos. So Donis is then recruited by the FBI to take part in an undercover mission to find out what's going on the res and who is responsible for other murders that start to pop up. So while she's gathering information for the FBI, Donis can't help but think that she's doing her community a disservice by cooperating with a federal agency, as there, of course, there's a history of abuses by the federal government upon Native people and their land, and it just makes it all that much more complicated. And I can't really go on much more about the rest of the book without spoiling it. But I have to say, I hope this will sell everyone. This is absolutely one of the best books I've ever read. It has so many layers. It's a mystery, like first and foremost, but it has so many layers on top of it. It's like a mystery, a crime drama, a family drama. There's romance. It's got like coming of age elements. It's got sports elements because there's hockey involved. And it's an own voices novel. Like the Angeline Booley is part of the Chippewa tribe in Sault Ste. Marie. So she's also Anishinaabe, and she's writing about her home, and it's just so beautiful. It blends like the main character Donis has like a passion for science, but also her like traditional Native beliefs, and it's just full of girl power and full of like twists that I had no idea they were coming. It has a lot going on, but it like never feels like too much. It's just woven together so beautifully. And like I said, I listened to it, and it's narrated by Dakota actress Isabella Starr LeBlanc, and she does such an amazing job of bringing the main character Donis to life. And it's also going to be a Netflix show produced by the Obamas. So you got to get your hands on this book. It's so good. Read it before it becomes a show. That is Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Booley.
Thank you, Emily. You totally just sold that, I think.
Oh, good. Good.
My copy just came in on overdrive. So now
Perfect.
I'm gonna read that next. Thank you very much. That sounds so good. All of these books sound amazing, and I hope that you all listening think so too. So that was it for today's reviews or recommendations. Teen Book Bites will be back real soon with more teen book recommendations for you. In the meantime, please check out some of our previous videos on the LAPL YouTube channel. They are uploaded there for your enjoyment. And don't forget to tune in to the Los Angeles Public Library's YouTube and Facebook Live channels. We're still doing lots of great programming virtually on our channels. And thank you to all of the librarians who shared some amazing books today. And thank you for watching. We will see you again very soon.